Here is the warm-up for 11.7. So the first one wants us to find the volume of this solid, and this solid is a pyramid. So the base shape is a square. Notice all the congruency marks. So formula for volume of a pyramid is 1/3 area of the base times how tall the pyramid is. So this is 96 inches cubed, or cubic inches. Everybody good on number 1? Let's try number 2. Number 2 is a cone. So again, same formula, 1/3 area of the base times how tall it is. So 1/3 pi r squared, because it's a circle at the base, times the height. So 1,152 pi. If you were to have multiplied that by pi, 1152 times pi, you would have gotten 3,619.11 if it said to round to 2 decimal places. On the test, just read the directions. If it says leave in terms of pi or leave exact, then you would give it as this. If it says round to a certain number of decimal places, just round to whatever they say. Number 3. This one says find the volume of the cube after the cone is removed. So what we needed to do here is find the volume of the cube, find the volume of the cone, and subtract them. Now, volume of a cube shortcut is just take the side length and raise it to the 3rd power. So 6.8 to the 3rd power gives me 314.432. For the cone, it's 1/3 pi r squared height. If you leave it in terms of pi, this would be your answer. However, if we're going to multiply it by pi, then the final answer is 232.1. And again, volume, the units are always to the 3rd power. Number 4. This time they gave us the volume already calculated for this cone. They want us to find the radius. So again, I'm going to write down my formula and replace the volume and the height and then solve for r. So on this one, I actually rounded at this step to 63.99 and I made it 64. However, if you did not round it, you still would have gotten 7.99 and you could have rounded it to 8. So this would have been 8 inches. So again, though, on the test, just look to see and read the directions if they tell you to round or not. Let's go over the homework now. I'll zoom into each question so you can see it a little clearer. So here are numbers 3 and 4. So number 3, rounded to 2 decimal places, it didn't need to be rounded. Number 4, if you left it in terms of pi, that was your answer. However, if you divided this, let me see here, if you divided 1,300 by 3, you would have gotten 433 and 1/3 pi. But if you actually multiplied that, then you would have gotten 1,300 divided by 3 times pi is going to give you 1,361.36. So that would be rounded to 2 decimal places for number 4. For number 5, if we divide this, 40 divided by 3, this would have given us 13.3 repeating. I would have left it as 13 1/3 inches cubed. Whenever it's repeating, you might be better off leaving it as an improper fraction or a mixed number. For number 6, I'll show you 6 and 7 at the same time. So for number 6, this is like, it looks like it's slanted, like it's oblique. So this is the height of the cone. And again, if we were to multiply this, so 2/3 times pi, that is going to give us 2.09 meters cubed. So rounded to 2 decimal places. Number 7, we don't need to round. It's just going to be 6 inches cubed. Any questions on 6 or 7? Okay, let's go over here to 8. This one is actually a hexagonal pyramid. So what I did was I drew out the base, and then remember that to find the measure of the central angle, take 360, divide it by the number of sides. So now this triangle that's at the bottom has a central angle of 120. But remember, when you draw in the altitude, now this top piece becomes 60. So then remember, this is x root 3, this would be x, and this would be 2x. They gave us the side length, which was 12, so this piece is 6, and this piece is 6. So then now what I need to do is solve, and let's see here. All right, this is wrong. Hold on, time out. This should be 60. So this is the 30 up here. So this is x root 3. So this is 6. So then my apothem is 6 square root 3. So my apothem is 6 square root 3. The number of sides is 6, and my side length is 12. So now I can take these 3 numbers and plug it in. So the area of my hexagon base is 216 square root 3. And if I were to multiply it, because it said to round to 2 decimal places, I'll go ahead and find the square root of 3, multiply that by 1,224, and this final answer would have been 2,120.03 feet cubed. So if it says leave exact, you would leave it with the radical. If it says to round to 2 decimal places, this is what we get. Pretty good on number 8. Okay, let's go down to number 12. Here's 12 and 13. Now notice on 12 and 13, they already gave us the volumes calculated. So for number 12, we're looking for x, which is the height. So again, remember, volume is 1/3 base times height. So the x is our height, and we're going to solve and isolate x, and we get x equals 6 centimeters. Over here for the cone, this x is our radius. So here is the formula for volume of a cone. Plug in everything you know and solve for the radius, and that radius is 6 inches. Let's go to number 15. Again, it's a cone. Now, what we needed to do was pull out this triangle that's formed with the radius and the height, because we needed to find the height. So if I pull this out, I knew, let's see, what did they give us? They gave me that, oh, they gave me the height, sorry, 22, and this was 60. So again, let's label our sides. Across from 30 is x, this is 2x, and the 22 is x square root 3. I need to solve this. So x square root 3 equals 22. Divide by root 3. X is equal to 22 over square root 3. Once I divide that, I get the 12.7 or 12.70. Then you plug it into the formula, because that was my radius. X is what we were looking for here in order to find the volume. Once you plug it into 1/3 pi times radius squared times height, you get this. If you didn't round this on the calculator to 12.7, then you would have gotten this answer. So if you would have rounded it to 2 decimal places first, then used the rounded answer, it was slightly different. Now number 20. This looks like a complex figure. We actually have a cylinder and a cone. So we're going to find the volume of the cone top and the volume of the cylinder bottom. So once we find those two, if we leave it in terms of pi, it's 72 pi. If we multiply 72 times pi, we get 226.19. For number 22, there are two cones. So we have a big cone and a little cone. So we're going to find the volume of the top cone, the volume of this bottom cone. If I'm leaving it in terms of pi, I need to find a common denominator between 3 and 12. And then my fraction becomes 9/12, which simplifies to 3/4. So left in terms of pi, it's 3/4 pi feet cubed. If you multiply 3/4 times pi, you get 2.36. And then the last one, number 23, we have two pyramids, and they're actually congruent pyramids. So once we go ahead and find the area of the base, which is a square, so 3.3 times 3.3, and that gives me 10.89. Then I can do 1/3 area of the base times the height, and then double it because both pyramids are the same. So this will give me 16.698, rounded to 2 decimal places, 16.70. So that is 11/7's warm up and homework. Does anybody need me to go back to anything? Okay, so what you're going to be doing over the weekend, due Tuesday, is the test review. Again, get yourself organized, have the formulas written down, maybe draw a picture of the shape that corresponds to the formula you have written down. The test is next Thursday. It will be on Canvas, just like we've been doing the quizzes. You'll have to have the 2 devices, and you'll take it on Canvas. Again, showing your work is going to be part of the test. Any questions?